welcome to episode 4 of the Stir Fry Let It Fly podcast, where we give our takes on all things NBA. James here with Will and Cyrus, and we are currently recording from a studio in Vancouver, Canada.
Hi, this is Cyrus. I'm still a Spurs diehard since 1997. I still love Kawhi a lot.
And this is William. I'm also a Spurs fan and a Westbrook hater. And this episode is brought to you by Haley Giselle Skincare and their all-natural caviar collection. Be naturally beautiful.
Okay, guys, thanks for tuning in. So today we wanted to talk about and make our bold predictions for the 2020 year, which includes both the rest of this NBA season and then the summer and then early next season as well. And if we have time, we might cover some of the percolating trade rumors out there. So what we've done is we've gone ahead and spent some time with each person coming up with at least one bold prediction. I'm going to have Cyrus start with his, and then we'll go through, give our takes on it, and then keep going from there.
So hello. So my first bold prediction for 2020 is gonna be either Simmons or Joe Embiid gonna be traded in the mid-season or this off-season. What do you guys think?
So you are saying that Ben Simmons or Joel Embiid from the Philadelphia 76ers, either one of them are going to be traded either in season
Or off-season?
or off season. Okay.
So I think if that actually happens, it is going to be asset for asset. But then if you're going to be trading a near superstar, either Simmons or Embiid, it is gonna be very unlikely you're gonna get anything equal in return.
But the thing is, right now, when I check back the result right now, Philadelphia is actually lying on number 5th seed right now. And it looks like the experiment between Simmons and Embiid doesn't really work out. Because both of them, not both of them, Simmons can really shoot, right? Shoot any like mid-range or 3-point. It kind of like limit Embiid's ability to score inside.
So Ben Simmons is 23 years old. Joel Embiid is 25, meaning Joel is right about the start of his prime. Ben isn't quite there yet. I've always been big on these two don't mesh well stylistically. I think it's a really big problem that Ben cannot shoot because what that does is, from a spacing standpoint, everything clusters, it tightens things up inside, right? And then if you're Joel Embiid, or if you're the coach, you're Brett Brown, what you want from Embiid is to be more on the inside, not on the outside. But if there's no space inside, what Joel is going to do is he's going to come outside, he's going to start jacking up those threes. And he can make them at a decent enough clip, but when you're as dominant as he is, you want him inside. So I do think that's a great idea. I do think that one of those guys needs to be there and the other guy is probably going to make sense elsewhere. Who do you think is the one that's going to stay?
I personally think that Embiid would be the one staying just because he has been proven that he can stay relatively healthy this couple of years. Although he might take an off light on and off there. And he would be a bigger impact player, especially in the playoff.
I think couple of days ago, so either one of the podcasts say if Joel Embiid is healthy, he is the best player in the league. So I think Philadelphia will give up Ben Simmons.
So I've heard other podcast hosts say that as well. I think my issue with people saying if he's healthy, he's the best player in the league is that he's not as, like, he's dominant, but he also has limitations. Like, he needs good players around him. He's not as versatile as someone like Kawhi or LeBron, right? Which means that in clutch moments, you can't give him the ball reliably, right?
Okay.
Because he's not operating from the same spacing considerations.
Okay.
So when we think about, like, if I was another GM and Philly was willing to trade Simmons, right, I'd happily take Simmons away.
Yep.
And I think if you were a smart GM, like, let's say the Pelicans, you could easily build around Simmons. What you would probably have is sort of an offense or a team built a lot like the Milwaukee Bucks, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because you'd have shooters all around, and then you'd have one guy who basically runs the show, who brings the ball down, who can make shots at a decent clip inside, who is a threat defensively, who's big.
The only thing that I believe Philadelphia would want to keep Simmons because they still have Horford.
Yeah.
So if you have a team with Simmons, Horford, Tobias, and then get trade Embiid for couple shooter or draft pick, that will be healthy or will be successful in the next season.
I just thought of a trade since James, you talked about Pelicans. I'm thinking, what if you have Brandon Ingram, JJ Redick, and a couple of picks, couple of first-round picks, in a three-way trade where the two picks turn into another asset, just because Ingram and Redick are both cheaper, and they can re-sign and do it over the cap next year. What do you guys think?
So you would be bringing back Redick to the Sixers?
Yeah, I don't think they have a bad relationship.
No, I don't think so either. I think Redick signing with the Pelicans is purely because of the money, really.
Yeah, so if Redick was signed for, I don't know, like $8 or $10 million, and Ingram is still relatively cheap, so because Ben Simmons is on a higher contract now, right? So they could technically take in another $10 to $15 million and get a 3-and-D guy. So essentially, you'll be getting Redick, Ingram, and another 3-and-D for Simmons. So that you can build around Philadelphia with Ingram and Redick both being able to shoot, and maybe the third guy being able to shoot too.
So I think if I'm the Pelicans, I think that's too much. Right now, I would say Simmons and Ingram are about the same. I wouldn't give too much just to get Simmons because, like we're talking about, like it's not even that Simmons can't make threes. He's not even taking them.
He's trying.
He took like
twice.
2,
Twice.
and he's 2 for 2, I think.
Okay.
But he's not even taking them, and he's not taking mid-range jumpers as well.
I don't think it's too much just because, number one, Ingram has been rumored to be frustrated about the contract talks. So I think Pelican might still be at a watching mode, just because of his injury issue with his blood. And also, imagine Simmons and
Zion
playing together.
both can shoot.
It was supposed to be Alonzo, Zion. Obviously, it's really not working out so far. So I think Simmons and Zion would be a blockbuster for season tickets.
Do you think, though, that Simmons could work with Zion? Like, I'm excited to see Zion. We haven't seen him in a regular season game yet, but from what I've seen in preseason and in Duke, like, the guy is a monster just rolling down the court, but that's also what Simmons is.
They are pretty much similar player, right? But Zion has a bit more range than Simmons.
Zion is heavier, right? He's probably one of the heaviest guys in the NBA already.
Isn't he the most heaviest?
Yeah, I totally agree on that one. And so, like, I think that they'd be getting in each other's way. And again, it's the same idea of because Simmons isn't willing to take that shot at a regular or consistent rate, that's a problem. Yeah.
Okay, well, that's your Pro Bowl prediction
For 2020.
Yeah.
I don't think it's gonna happen in 2020, but maybe 2021.
But what if they fail to make the past second round in this playoff?
That's a really good point. I think that if they don't make it past the second round, I think they're gonna call it.
Yeah, but I don't think it's gonna be mid-season though. It's gonna be hard to find a trade partner that works during the mid-season, just because there are still contract going through, right?
Yeah.
Can Spurs land Ben Simmons? Do you want Ben Simmons, Will, for Spurs?
Yeah, but it's almost impossible just because they have no assets.
Yeah.
That especially Philadelphia wants.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So my bold prediction for 2020 is that the Miami Heat will face the Milwaukee Bucks in the Eastern Conference Finals. So that basically means that Philadelphia and Boston will lose in the second round of the playoffs. What do you guys think?
I think it's possible actually.
Because Jimmy Butler has the guts. He can do it.
So 5-2. That is Miami's record right now in the regular season against Toronto, against Philly, and against Boston.
What about Milwaukee? They haven't played yet, right?
So they have played Milwaukee, but you wouldn't count that because I think I'm trying to think
Oh,
about
right.
are they going to go against these other teams and how would they fare, right?
Okay.
So Miami is actually playing pretty well. They, I think, are up 3-1 against Philadelphia. So they are killing Philly, right? And it's that zone defense where, again, Philly doesn't shoot well enough to be able to bust that up at this point. So then you have Boston, where I think, I don't know, like I'm a little reluctant to say that Boston is going to go very far, even though the regular season record says that they are a good team.
Because right now, Boston is second seed right now.
Yeah, that's right.
You know why?
Because no Kyrie.
There's no Kyrie.
It's true. It's true. That whole Kyrie possibly being out for the rest of the season with potential surgery.
So he said he can't lift up his arm, right?
Yeah, I don't know. That's it. That's a topic for another day. But still, like Miami, Milwaukee, that's my bold prediction. I think Jimmy can do it. I think Jimmy can get them far in the East.
I think that with the current Miami team, I do believe they can go to the Eastern Final.
Yeah.
But one thing that will change the scenario is, I believe either Boston or Miami or both of the team will make a huge trade during the off season.
But we're talking about this season.
No, this season. This in season, right?
Yeah. Maybe. I don't know if Boston, like,
Because Boston want a tall guy because
they want a big man.
they
Yeah.
are a big man. Yep.
Yeah. So Boston wants a big man. But
And Miami has too much point guard. Dragic, Kendrick Nunn.
I think the way Miami's constructed is they're very versatile, right? Like they can basically fit a lot of these players in different positions. The nice thing about them is they're basically like a grit and grind team, right? They're
Memphis?
heart and soul. Yeah, it's basically what Jimmy Butler is, right? He's
Okay.
a grinded out guy. He's a hard work guy. No flair, just like put in the work, get the results kind of thing.
Okay.
And I think that when I compare that to a place like Boston, I think it's going to be a problem for Boston when Kemba is undersized. Hayward, there are questions about how healthy he's going to be.
And Tatum.
Tatum and Brown are good. I think they're solid players, but they've got that hole in the middle. So I don't
Because
know
they
if Daniel
lose.
Tice is enough, right? Against, because Miami's not just Jimmy. Miami's Nunn, it's Hero, it's Dragic, it's Bam Adebayo, who is having a phenomenal season.
And Dion Waiter.
And waiters somewhere there munching on brownies.
Is James Johnson still playing?
I don't think he's part of the regular rotation.
Okay.
And Spoelstra is a great coach. Like, so is Stevens. But
True.
Spoelstra is a great coach.
James Johnson. Who's James Johnson? The point guard?
No, the the strong guy.
He's like a lean...
Who's the guy that got traded to Phoenix from Miami last year?
Phoenix.
It was a white guy.
Oh, Myers Leonard?
No, it was a point guard.
That's from that guy's from Portland. But
Oh, yeah.
But I think he's injured right now.
Myers Leonard is in
Not
Miami.
Myers Leonard. I'm talking
Yeah.
about. We can look it up after.
Phoenix to Portland. Okay.
No, Phoenix
To Miami.
from
Phoenix,
Miami.
Miami.
From Miami.
Okay. I don't know. Anyways, yeah. So that's my bold prediction. It's going to be Miami, Milwaukee. Okay, what do you got, Will?
So my bold prediction. So obviously, the possibility of Popovich being retiring this year is high.
After Olympic, right?
Yeah. So basically after this year. So this year's Olympic, right?
Yep.
Yep. So my prediction
July.
is
This
Becky
is gonna
Hammond is
be
going to be the next coach of the Spurs, with Duncan being the lead.
Really, you think
Wow.
she is gonna go over Tim Duncan?
Just because I think Tim Duncan still needs a couple of years in the whole coaching era. Just because of his demeanor, he's not going to jump into a head coach role right away.
Okay.
Like basically an understudy.
So I'm gonna push back a little bit because there was that one game where Pop was like, "I'm not looking to like create controversy or something," wherein he got kicked out and he put Tim Duncan as the next coach instead of Becky Hammond, right?
uh-huh.
Because there was like, I don't even remember, he got ejected or something.
Yep.
Right. So I'm all for Becky Hammond being the first
lady coaching.
women, NBA head coach.
Yep.
Like, I think that would be amazing. And, like, by the looks, I mean, she's put in her time, right? So clearly, I think in terms of experience, she probably has a lot more over Tim Duncan.
Yep.
I wonder about just being able to relate to the players, and maybe she's great. But Tim Duncan is a legend, right? So when you think about, like, if you're LaMarcus Aldridge, like, if Tim Duncan says something, you're very likely going to listen to Tim Duncan. Not saying that they wouldn't listen to Becky, right? But it's just different when it's coming from a legend.
Yeah, but I mean, if Tim Duncan is still going to be there, he's going to be the player's coach.
Yeah.
And Becky would basically be running the plays.
Yeah.
For the team. So it's more like a co-coach at that point. That's my prediction. Just especially with the team being in a rebuild mode, do you really want to put Duncan in that role in a losing cause?
Okay, hang on. Rebuild mode. Tell me more. What does that mean?
So I don't think, another prediction, I don't think that they're going to re-sign DeRozan. Either they're going to be trading him
away.
or they're going to let him go if he doesn't pick up the player option. So, and LaMarcus is likely going to be traded too if they don't re-sign DeRozan. It doesn't make sense for them to keep him.
So DeRozan makes 27, 28 mil.
Right now.
He does have that player option.
Which he will likely not take.
Yeah, because in this summer, there's not a lot of big name free agents. Like, there's Davis, but we know that Davis is very likely going to re-sign with the Lakers, right? So if you're DeRozan, you want to become a free agent right now when there's more money for you.
Or he wants championship right now.
I don't
think it's his call.
Yeah.
Unless he signed way lower.
Yeah.
So I think what he's going to do is sign for the same amount or maybe less, but more years.
Exactly. And I think if you're the Spurs, you'd be okay with that. You'd be okay with DeRozan taking a significant pay cut. So instead of 27, 28, maybe you make what, 12 per year for the next 4 years.
So another Pau Gasol scenario.
So
Yeah.
I was
And he comes off the bench. Or
I
maybe
don't-
even starts, but he's not your main guy anymore, right?
I don't see that happening. I just don't see why he will re-sign with the Spurs given the condition the team is in right now.
Yeah.
They're obviously going different direction. So if he is going to take a pay cut, why not join like a Philadelphia or Milwaukee type of team?
Are the Spurs, like, what are they trying to do, though?
Nobody know. Even I watched them for like almost more than 20 years. I don't know what they are doing right now.
Like, because clearly the Spurs aren't big on making in-season trades, right? They very rarely made one. So, like, basically their roster right now is what their roster is going to look like through to the end of this season.
And maybe next season.
And maybe next. So what is that going to get you? It's going to get you maybe an 8 seed, maybe.
So that's why I said
Yeah.
a rebuild.
So they should just blow it up.
Because if Popovich is going to resign or retired,
Yeah.
it is okay to rebuild because you're not going to tarnish his name by not making the playoff or have a 20 and 60 record, right?
So it's sad for me to see Spurs getting the payoff. Finally, it's done this year.
Well, you know, they still might make the playoffs. I'm actually, part of me is like counting on them to make the playoffs so that the Blazers don't, so that I win your beers. Or, you know, Memphis is also playing really well. So there's a couple of teams that
They
are
can
kind of
fight for the
jockeying.
8 seeds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And surprise, surprise, the OKC Thunder are pretty solidly in the next tier up, right? They are in 7th right now. They're probably the hottest team in the NBA, right? What's their win streak at?
For Memphis,
OKC.
okay, I think it's like 12. They win 12 game and lose 3 games.
So what's
far.
their win streak? Their win
me
streak
see.
is at.
While you're looking it up,
Win 5 game right now.
Okay,
5
that's
game.
solid. Yeah.
it's funny to see how James, who loved OKC before and Westbrook before, now he doesn't like OKC.
I wouldn't say I don't like OKC.
And,
I would say that it's more of a gradual fading into the background and then kind of peeping in if something exciting comes up.
Yeah, and about Westbrook, you definitely is not a fan anymore.
Well, so the thing is, oh man, it's so hard with Russ because I still watch a lot of Houston games
Yep.
because of Russ. But now I watch it with a different mindset. Now I'm like, oh man, bad shot. Don't take that. Don't take that. No, 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 no. Whereas before, I'm like, okay, you got to take those shots. It's fine. You clank it. You get the rebound. You get a triple double, whatever, right? But for me, for whatever reason, is kind of like must see TV. Like it's like a car crash. You just can't look away, kind of thing.
Okay, and I can see that you're totally on the LA Lakers bandwagon.
Oh, I'm
now.
totally on the Lakers. It's not a bandwagon. I've been a Lakers fan since Kobe Shaq. It's
So,
just it was hard to be a Lakers fan when they weren't very good.
then
So-
you're not a real fans of Lakers then.
Yeah, well,
I still like my Spurs right now.
yeah. Well, so okay. On that note, we can quickly talk since we've got a few more minutes about some of the big names popping up in trade rumors out there. So why don't we talk about there's Drummond, Andre Drummond of the Detroit Pistons.
Kevin Love.
There's Kevin
Again.
Love of the Cleveland Cavaliers.
Yeah.
He recently had this episode where, what did he do? He threw
Threw a ball
ball
to
at
the
his
head super hard. Because the scenario is he was guarded by Chris Paul.
Yeah,
And I believe the point guard, I forgot his name.
Sexton.
Sexton,
yeah.
and
Yeah.
refused to pass ball
Yeah.
for him to do the mismatch.
Mhm.
So he got really pissed off
Yeah, he
and,
actually went to the top of the key to get the ball.
Yeah.
and throw it really hard to one of, I can't remember the players, and the ball was out of bounds.
Oh man. So we talked about Kevin Love in our first episode. So I'm gonna say that a lot of what we talked about then about connections to Portland, any other team, kind of still hold true. So we'll put a pin in Kevin Love for now. So we've got Drummond, we've got Kyle Kuzma of the LA Lakers. There are also questions about, for example, Darren Collison, who
Come back from retirement.
Yeah, he
32.
came back from retirement. He stopped his NBA career because he wanted to become a full-time Jehovah's Witness, I think.
Yeah.
So now he's back. He wants to be back. He said that he wants to start playing again in February.
Okay.
Iguodala
Yeah, Iggy's still there.
and half of New York's team.
That's true.
Yep.
Yeah, basically. And is it Marcus or
Marcus.
Markieff Morris?
Marcus.
And Marcus is the better one of the twins, right?
He scored 38 points last night.
Yeah, and it was against the Clippers. I watched that game too. He played well.
I mean, I think New York signed majority of their player to a 2-year deals,
Yeah,
but
'cause
with the second year being a team option.
they're looking at that 2021 free agency because
For
that's
Giannis.
when
Yeah, is it
Giannis,
Giannis?
Kawhi, like Paul George. I think those guys are up again.
Yeah, and they might be loading up in picks
Yeah.
if they're able to do a Marcus Morris. Like, so basically they have been overpaying these players
Mm-hmm.
and then basically trading them as rentals.
Hmm.
And in the NHL they do that a lot, right?
Yeah.
So if the GM is actually smart enough, he should be able to pull that off, get more picks so that they can build a team once Giannis gets here.
Okay, let's start with Drummond. Like,
Okay.
Where do you guys
So
see?
so here's what I think we should do. So there's a lot of names out there. In
Yeah.
fact, there's even more names because, for example, with the OKC Thunder, like you could argue they're doing really well, but everybody's name is still kind of on the trade block. The asking price just got higher, and this is information from the Hoop Collective podcast today. So what we could do is we could just talk about one name today, and then we could have a separate pod about more of a trade machine focus, right?
Okay.
Where we talk about all of these different hypothetical trades, especially because the trade deadline is kind of looming. We're looking at about a month away from it. So who do you guys want to talk about today? Do we
Let's-
want Drummond or Kuzma?
Let's talk about Drummond.
Drummond.
I think.
Okay, sounds good. Okay, you guys get started. I'll look up Drummond's contract details.
Yep. So, the news we got today was Blake Griffin is likely out for the season.
Yep.
And with or without Blake, I think that team needs to be blown up anyways. With Reggie Jackson's contract expiring, I think Drummond would be the first to go, even before Kevin Love.
A couple of days ago, I saw Atlanta really want to land Drummond with trade with Piston for Drummond.
But what do they have to give? Like
John Collins.
So for context, Drummond is currently 26 years old. He is making $28.7 million
Last year?
this season. Or sorry, he's making 27 mil this season. And then next season, which is his player option, he's making 28.7.
So he's likely gonna take the player option unless they're able to extend him for the same amount.
Well, if you're Drummond, though, wouldn't you want a bigger, like, because he can re-sign for more, right? Because he's going to be at 8 years of experience. I don't know.
Yeah, but this type of players who can't shoot threes
Yeah.
don't garner 30 mil anymore.
You know which team I think is really good fit for Drummond? Boston.
Yeah, maybe.
So you have to give up what, Hayward and picks?
Yep. Boston still have a lot of pick, right?
They do, but I don't think Detroit would want Hayward.
Yeah, but then they're taking the picks.
Yeah.
And maybe not Tatum or Brown, they could give up.
Marcus Smart.
No, I think
no,
Boston
that's the-
really wants to keep Marcus
Yeah, that's
Smart.
the gel of the team, right?
Then
I think if you're Detroit and you're looking at a trade with Boston for Drummond, you got to ask for either one of Brown
Tatum.
or Tatum.
No, there's no way.
But that's the thing, right? Like, you got to give something to get something.
How about 3 picks and Hayward? Like 2 first round and 1 second round.
Oh gosh.
but
That's a
you,
rough
if
one.
you think about it, like
That's a rebuild, right? If you want a rebuild, why would you want to take another player back unless it's Brown or Tatum, which they're not gonna give up?
but if the team have Kemba, either Jalen Brown or Tatum plus Drummond, that looks pretty good.
Yeah, they can shoot the threes and there's the rebound, and Cantor can attack now.
Yep. And still have Marcus Smart.
I think that would be but Danny Ainge is known to get picks, not give picks though.
Okay. So here's a rundown of what the Celtics war chest looks like. So obviously they have their roster. For 2019, they have the number 14 pick by Sacramento, number 20 and 22. So 2020, they've got the Memphis Grizzlies pick, top 6 protected, and they've got their own pick. 2021, they've got the Grizzlies pick if it wasn't conveyed in 2020, and then they've got their own pick. So they don't actually have a lot of other picks.
I thought he got a pick from what?
So they used the Kings one was used this year, I think. So
Okay.
it's a 2019 draft. Yeah. So the Celtics don't actually have a lot other than that Memphis pick at
I-
their own.
I think it's gonna be a game of chicken. If Detroit know that Drummond is not gonna re-sign with them, then the value is gonna drop
Well-
significantly. And there's not a lot of teams out there who need someone like Drummond because he is getting paid $28 million.
So Drummond did say he wanted to stay a Piston, right? Like, I think there was an article on ESPN about that. I think the problem is, like, you're playing in a league now that's so focused on perimeter shooting, where I don't know if you guys watched that Lakers Pistons game yesterday.
That's 20 brought by the Lakers.
Yeah, and Drummond as a big man, like, you'd think your primary role is to be the defensive anchor. He does nothing for their defense. Like, I don't think they're that good defensively. And that's a problem.
Yeah, and Drummond is really not that good in my opinion. He
He's
rebounds.
a good, really good rebounder.
Yeah, but you don't pay a good rebounder $28 million.
Okay.
That's true.
So one other team, what's one other team that could take Drummond?
Can Spurs get Drummond?
Why would they want Drummond, though?
Because we always lack of a good center for so many years. Spurs never had a really good center.
But you would have to give up either picks or one of White or
We have too much guard.
Yeah, but then young ones. The
Mm.
young ones is Murray and White. Forbes are the second tier, right? So it has to be one of White or Murray, which I don't think we want to give up
Yeah.
for Drummond.
Hmm.
Yeah, so it's still hard to say which team would want Drummond. I can't think of a contender who can fit his salary yet be able to give asset back.
Oh, I heard Dallas.
Oh, actually, they do need a rim runner because what happens is we know Porzingis, if he's in a pick and
Pop. Pick and
yeah,
pop.
he's gonna pop. So Drummond actually makes sense. He shores up their rebounding.
Does Dallas have access to trade for Drummonds?
Maybe.
Who can they give up? Like Tim Hardaway Jr.?
Hardaway's playing well for them though. He's
But-
one of the reasons why.
What's Dallas' salary looking like right now? I think Dallas can give up all the picks if they're at a win now situation. They don't need additional picks to make things happen at this point.
Yeah.
If salary wise they can do what the Lakers did and what the Clippers did, give up 2 or 3 first round pick, like the 2021, 2023, and 2025 first round pick. 3 picks
Hmm.
plus some salary filler.
So Dallas, the big salaries on Dallas are Porzingis at 27.2 mil, Hardaway at 18 mil, Courtney Lee at 13 mil, and Dwight Powell at 10 mil, DeLon Wright at 9.4 mil.
So I think it's gonna be the Courtney Lee.
Conley still playing.
Yeah, this $12 million.
Yeah.
You might need another guy like Maxey.
Yeah, because Drummond is making 27, right?
Yeah,
So you
because
need to be sort of within a certain
20
percentage.
25%.
Yeah.
So 25%. If you do 20, it's close.
Let's see.
It's really close.
Well, with Drummond, Porzingis, and John Aldridge, that's a pretty good lineup. I think they can challenge the Clippers with that.
No, I don't think so.
Not yet, at least. So keep in mind, Drummond is 26. So that's still a pretty young age.
Pretty young.
Which means you still have room to grow if you're Dallas, right? Let's see. Let me trade machine this to see if it works.
Yeah, I mean the thing is, do you want Drummond in the long run? Because I don't think that they're gonna give up multiple picks for rental. But then yet, what I think is if the off season this season is weak, I don't think Mark Cuban is gonna be patient enough to wait 3 years.
Yeah.
If they are seeing this up and coming, they want this team to go back to the playoff and make a serious run this couple of years. So I think it is possible that if the money works, that Mark Cuban would pull the trigger.
Yeah.
Mm.
I mean, it makes sense. And from a trade machine standpoint, so you can't trade Cleaver, but you can trade Courtney Lee and DeLon Wright for Drummond.
Okay.
So Dallas has a couple of different guards that they still have on their roster, even if they got rid of DeLon Wright. So that would work. Yeah. Okay. I mean, that sounds like a good trade to me.
And
And 3 picks, right?
Yeah. And picks, of course, to sweeten the deal. Yeah.
then Dallas can challenge the West with Drummonds, right?
Yeah, I think so. I think
Yeah,
so.
they could be like a 4th seed.
Yeah, and then give him some more time, right? Luka gets even better. It's
So
going to be nuts.
with Drummonds in Dallas better or Houston better?
Dallas? I think, oh man, I love Luka's game. I think Luka is amazing, and he's so young.
Yeah.
Okay, so that is going to be the end of this episode of Stir Fry Let It Fly podcast. Thanks for listening. Please subscribe, rate, and review us wherever you get your pods. Catch you all on the next one. Thanks.
Thank
See ya.
you.
Okay.
Can I get some water?